This is Cheri from Divine Light Quantum Healing. Thank you so much for watching this video today. I'm starting a new set of interview videos on, other doTERRA experts and wellness advocates and people who just love using essential oils. And I'm really excited to be here with you today, bringing you this first video of many to come that you'll be able to, watch in the future on this channel. We're also going to be featuring other kinds of videos. We'll do a featured oil of the month. We'll do a featured guest interview or a guided meditation with a featured oil. And we'll also be bringing you live classes where you can log on live and join us in the chat room and ask your questions about how to heal with oils for yourself or your family. So I'm really excited about what the future holds for this channel. And today I'm really excited to be here with Claire Yarrington. She's a good friend of mine and she's a wellness advocate, and she's been using doTERRA oils for a long time and has many great tips to share with you guys today. And so I just want you to get to know Claire a little bit. So without further ado, welcome to the show, Claire. Thank you so much for being here today.
Hi, Cheri. Thank you. I'm excited to be here too.
Awesome. So Claire, I would love for you to talk about your kind of career as a wellness advocate and to share with our audience, how you got started using essential oils and how they came into your life.
Okay. Well, it's actually a little bit humorous because I didn't start out as someone who loved or appreciated essential oils. About 25 years ago, one of my daughters gave me a little bottle of tea tree oil along with some instructions, and I smelled it and didn't like the smell. And what's funny about that is it came with instructions, but because it was unfamiliar, I actually never used it. I put it in the drawer and thought, well, maybe if I don't have another alternative, sometime I'll use that. But actually, what happened a few years after that was I purchased a couple of oils, cinnamon, and I think rosemary or orange, to diffuse because I liked the smell. And those oils had a little bit more pleasant smell to them. And so I used them in a diffuser back a long time ago. But it was not until years later that I actually came into an essential oil that I wanted to have in my home all the time. So, it was interesting that in those early days, I never realized that essential oils had more benefits than just good smells. Back then, that was all I comprehended about them, and the good smell. But when I encountered pure oils that had been sourced in the places where they were indigenous and the strongest, most therapeutic oils, my whole paradigm changed. And I could tell there was much more to it than just good smell.
Wonderful. I know that's true. I remember loving essential oils back like 25 years ago. And, it was mostly for the smell until I learned they were medicinal. Mm-hmm. So how long did you say you've been using essential oils?
Well, that very first bottle came into my life about 25 years ago, and then the other two probably 3 or 4 years after that. But I've been using them regularly now for 10 years. The doTERRA brand's the only brand that I use, in addition to your blends, which I love. But I found that it really does, purity matters. It really does. And you can tell the difference between a pure and well-sourced oil that's been processed in the right way, and an essential oil. For instance, everywhere you can buy essential oils now. You can buy them at Walmart and Bed Bath & Beyond, but all you have to do is uncap and smell them, and you can smell the difference between them. So what actually happened when I think the safe thing to say is that I became a serious fan of essential oils in 2011. And that came about because my other daughter, Sandy, had attended a doTERRA class in Ashland, Oregon. And she was a Pilates teacher and had issues with her back. She would occasionally have temporary discomfort in her lower back. She attended this class with that discomfort and one of the wellness advocates that was there took one look at her and said, "You look like you're in pain." And she said, "I am." And they used Deep Blue on her, and she had immediate relief from that discomfort. And so the very next day she called me and said, "I went to this class. You have to hear about these oils." And I honestly, being a bit of a skeptic, I wasn't positive, but I believed in my daughter. So I had her purchase a kit for me. I said, "I'll buy these oils if you'll come and teach me how to use them." And she did. She brought with her a textbook, that I should probably share because I think this is really useful. But this is a new version of Modern Essentials. And she brought the textbook with her so that even though she didn't know much about them, together we could research how we could use them. And it didn't take me long, smelling a really good essential oil, to realize that I had done a good thing in purchasing them. And over the years, in that first year, there was a really strong desire on my part to learn how to use them well. And it was then that I learned that essential oils would improve the well-being of anyone who used them correctly and consistently. I chose an oil a week, and I would use it in all the ways that were appropriate to use it. And they're aromatic, topical, or internal. We'll talk a little bit more about that later, I'm sure. But it was important for me to make them useful in my life. And so that was just the approach I took. So it's 2 years now that I've been using doTERRA essential oils.
Amazing. That's great. Thank you so much for sharing your personal story about, yourself and Sandy. I know Sandy works with these oils regularly, and she's a great leader and a teacher as well. So I would love to know personally, what are your 3 favorite oils and why? Why did you choose those 3? Because there's so many oils to love. It's often challenging to just pick 3, but I would love to know what yours are.
Well, I would say that's maybe the hardest question you're asking me because I love them all.
Yeah.
I chose today to share the 3 oils that I studied first. And I chose them because they're basics and I use them every day. So the first one is peppermint. And actually, I'll hold all 3 of these up because these 3 oils come in a starter kit. It's a really inexpensive kit that doTERRA makes just for someone like me who might be a skeptic. And what they allowed me to do, these 3 oils, was to experiment with things I would use every day. So I'll talk about peppermint first and demonstrate how we use that oil because it's a great one. I usually will just put a drop or 2 in the palm of my hand. Comes out pretty fast. It's hard sometimes to get 1 drop. And I like to warm it up. When you warm it up, the warmth of the hands infuse the whole air around you with the oil. And then if you want a really strong experience, you can hold this close to your nose and inhale through your nose.
Yeah, you're going to get quite a buzz right there.
I was going to say, this is a great oil to use at the beginning of anything that you want to be enthusiastic about, because what I love about peppermint is it works really well with both the digestive system and the respiratory system. Now, a lot of people know about peppermint from a digestive standpoint, but there's a lot of ways. In fact, these 3 oils, lemon, lavender, and peppermint, together have more than 100 uses for just these 3 oils.
That's amazing.
What I love about peppermint, though, is when you inhale it, it's actually dilating your bronchial tubes, and it allows you to take in more oxygen. And when we take in more oxygen, we think clearer, we feel refreshed. There's some other great uses for this, but what I like to do when I'm first introducing oils is give someone an experience with it. So I'm going to talk about a few cautions too, because some people get enthusiastic and they get that oil right up near their eyes. And essential oils don't belong in the eye area anywhere. You can use them around the bony structure. For instance, there's some treatments for pink eye that work really well, but you don't want an essential oil in your eye ever. So if you're breathing it in, be careful to not get the oil in your eyes at the same time. That's also true if they're on your hands and you go to touch your eyes or your face. You might feel a little cool tingling. But some other things that peppermint is really good for, I used to use it initially as a breath freshener. I just put a drop on my tongue. And when you do that and inhale, it also decongests. It's wonderful to refresh you. It's also good, though, for digestive issues. You can rub it on your stomach or lower abdomen if you have a digestive issue. And it's also good to reduce the body temperature. If you're hot from being outside, or if you're running a low fever, you can put it along the spine from the back of the neck all the way to the base of the spine, and it will cool the body. So those are just some of my favorite ways to use it.
That's a great reminder. As we head into summer, I love putting it in a water bottle and a spray bottle when I'm out and it's really hot. It cools me off instantly. And as I prepare to embark on a journey to some of the warmer states, I'm going to definitely bring a spray bottle of peppermint oil with me.
Yeah. It's good to spritz on your face or your back or anywhere when you're feeling too warm. The thing I want to mention, another precaution about essential oils, though, and bottles, because I have a lot of plastic bottles, spray bottles from my past when I used to clean with other things, and I saved the bottles. But essential oils will only maintain integrity in a very low dose if you're using plastic. So when I want a higher dose of essential oils in my spray bottle, I will always use a glass bottle for that. And I have a couple of other oils that I use with a spray right in there, and I'll go on if I can to lavender. So This is our lavender oil. And what I noticed about lavender at first was that it's very calming and relaxing. A lot of people are aware that lavender is a calming oil. So it promotes a really restful night's sleep. And one of the best ways to apply that for sleep topically is to put it on the base of your toes and then smooth it down over the bottom of your foot. And that way, and if you want to, you can put socks on. Sometimes I'll put socks on after I've put an essential oil on my feet if I want to hop right in bed. But it's also great to spritz on your sheets. You can spritz it on your sheets. But I think its greatest therapeutic benefit is for the skin. So you can combine it with an unscented moisturizer. doTERRA makes a really great unscented moisturizer that we started putting drops of oils in. I always keep my lavender, however, in a spray bottle in the kitchen, because one of its benefits for skin is the ability to penetrate the dermis layer quickly, and it will calm and soothe a burn. And that's true whether that burns in the kitchen or whether that burn is a sunburn. So what's nice about this little spritzer is if I have a sunburn, I can just spray it on, and I don't even have to rub it in because it will absorb. And if someone's burn is really painful, that's going to come in handier than trying to touch it and smooth it if you put a drop on.
That's such a great
now
idea.
I'm high. I have lavender and peppermint.
I love that idea of putting lavender in a spray bottle and just having it handy in the kitchen for burns. I can't tell you how many times I've burned myself cooking. And for kids, as we head into summer and they get sunburns, you don't have to rub anything on there. You can just spray it on. That's such a great tip.
Well, I learned this the hard way. When David and I went on a cruise in 2013, and we're not exposed to the sun very much, but we went snorkeling in the Caribbean. And I didn't think that having sun exposure underwater was going to burn my skin. But when we got back that night, my whole back was completely red. And I had to endure someone putting lavender on my skin. And I got home, and that's the first thing I did. And ever since then, this gets used way more than this does, just because it's convenient, even if you're spraying it on the bottom of your feet. So I like to do that. And then the third oil in this set is lemon.
And Claire, just to clarify, back on the lavender, it's not diluted at all, right? It's just 100%.
Mine isn't. Okay. No. And I'm glad you asked, because after a period of time, I have to replace the spray top because it will, this pure and full strength oil will tend after a while to wear down the plastic tubing that's inserted in it. But it's worth the effort because that way you don't have to touch it with your skin.
Okay.
So I want to talk about lemon. I love lemon oil. If you've ever got pine sap on clothing or on your skin, or goo of any kind, sticky labels, this oil is tremendous for that. Mm-hmm. And it also is great for washing vegetables and fruit that come back from the garden or from the market. And I think that one of my favorite things with lemon is to put it in water. So I have a glass of water here. Here's my glass. And in this size glass, this is about 8 ounces. I usually will put 1 or 2 drops. And what's great about lemon is it's an overall cleansing oil. It's a great cleaner. So while it'll clean spots and stains and clean all kinds of things, I have a mirror glass cleaner that uses a little bit of lemon oil and white vinegar and water, and it works just as well as any toxic product you can buy. But when you're drinking it, if you've put the oil is going to sit in the top of the glass. So I have a metal straw that I like to use, and that'll go ahead and draw the oil down to the bottom of the glass and distribute it through the water. So I'm glad I have this. I can use it while we talk if I need to. So those are 3 basic oils that just will give someone a great experience of how you incorporate oils in everyday lifestyle.
Mm-hmm. That's a great tip too about the straw. Thank you. I love putting it in my water bottle, and then I can shake it up really good before I take that first sip, so I don't get the direct lemon oil on my lip.
I've never used lemon in a plastic water bottle, but they're especially toxic if you put them in the very lightweight water bottles that you buy in the store meant to be disposed. So I would recommend anybody who's using an essential oil in water that they make sure they're using either a metal water bottle container or a glass.
Yeah. And
you can buy a glass one that has a little strong rubber coating that will protect it from spills and that sort of thing. And that's what I use.
Yeah, that's exactly what I use. I like the glass for anytime I'm using essential oils in water. I will use lemon in a metal water bottle as well, but I noticed that like after a few days it changes the taste. So
it does a little bit.
Yeah, not that I keep my water around for a few days, but sometimes if I'm just refilling that same bottle, it doesn't taste as good. So glass is always the best if you can.
Yeah, I think glass is best as well. Mm-hmm. I actually start my day with an 8-ounce glass of water with lemon in it before I do anything else. The first thing I do is come out to the kitchen and I prepare that. And I didn't mention it, but lemon has the same solvent effect in our filtering organs, and it helps to scrape out things that get stuck in filtering organs. And so as you drink water for a health benefit, it helps to keep the liver, kidneys, bladder, and so forth in good shape.
That's a great tip as well. Thank you so much for sharing that knowledge.
Yeah.
We could all use a little bit of liver cleanse, especially now.
Yeah, this is a gentle liver cleanse. It's not, it's not something, and sometimes people worry about taking essential oils internally. So I want to mention something about that. 2 things, in fact, about that. One is that 1 or 2 drops is all we need for an application in most cases, and all of our uses of essential oils. But if we're taking them internally, we don't need a lot because their effect is gentle and it's going to take place over a period of time. So someone who's drinking lemon for the detox abilities that it has, they're not going to notice anything. They're not going to notice anything unusual in their normal everyday habits if they're using lemon, and not to excess, right? But just you could drink 8 glasses a day with lemon in it. But what I do, I don't know if you do this too, but I mix it up. So my first glass is lemon, and then sometimes I'll drink fennel by itself. That's a good appetite suppressant, by the way. And another great appetite suppressant that is probably my favorite is grapefruit with a little bit of cassia in it. So when I'm drinking my water throughout the day, I've mixed up what goes in there.
What did you say? Grapefruit with a little bit of what?
Cassia. Cassia, cassia oil.
Cassia, yes. Okay.
It's in the cinnamon family, but it's not as hot or strong as cinnamon.
Oh, okay.
And that brings up another precaution that I wanted to mention. There are certain people with sensitive skin, and of course that includes babies and young children. Some oils like lavender, absolutely fine for babies and young children, even full strength. But doTERRA has come out with a set of oils called the touch oils. And in that, they've used a therapeutic amount of dilution ratio so that they are safe for people with sensitive skin and babies. And it's important if you're using them in your family and you have someone with sensitive skin that you either dilute with a fractionated coconut oil or use a touch oil that's been pre-diluted for you. Mm-hmm. And beware that certain oils are also photosensitive. So lemon is a photosensitive oil. If you're going to use it on your skin for some reason, you don't want to go out in the sun for about 24 to 48 hours because it will cause the skin to be more prone to burning with that oil topically.
Yes, so, thank you for that reminder. All the citrus oils are not good to go out in the sun.
Yeah, they're photosensitive. Yeah. They're okay to wear under clothing. So, if you for some reason want to try one as a deodorant and you use that underneath your arms, that's probably fine. It's when it's on skin that's actually exposed to sun that it becomes a little bit more dangerous.
Right. Okay, great. And so I know that was a tough question about what are your, 3 favorite oils. My last question is, what are your top 3 oils that you carry around with you all the time? Like, do you have a few that you keep in your purse that you keep just for emergencies, or, can you speak on those?
Yeah, actually, I brought that. Let me find it. Where is it? Here it is. I have a little keychain. doTERRA started coming out with keychains, but this actually came from Aroma Tools. And they came out with a keychain because people needed to have a size that wasn't too heavy or weighty to carry around. I mean, when we used to carry around full-size oils in our purse, my shoulder would drop. They were so heavy. But this is a really fun one because there's a little place where I can put the packets, the Deep Blue Rub. Mm-hmm. And then inside, this actually holds 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 16 oils.
Oh, wow.
Inside. I'm not sure if you can see that. Can you see it well?
Yeah, I can see it. Yeah, you can. Yeah. I can see it really well.
So these are the oils that I always want to have with me because they're the oils that either I use the most often. So lemon's in here, which is great because if I have gone out to eat, I will have lemon to drop in my water. And I have Terra Shield because it's bug season. And I have Balance because that's a real calming oil for me and helps me feel grounded. But if you ask me to pick 3, the 3 that I always end up giving to other people because I use them and other people use them are Deep Blue. Now I've got sample sizes, so you can see these are a lot tinier than the 15 mil, which are 1 ounce. These are 5/8 dram, and my 3 top ones are Deep Blue, OnGuard, and Frankincense.
Oh, yes. And I love frankincense.
I'll talk about Deep Blue first. Deep Blue really accesses all temporary discomforts. And this is an oil that's not meant for internal application in the oil form. But doTERRA makes a Deep Blue polyphenol supplement that does the same thing, reducing levels of inflammation. This oil has blue tansy in it. And because of the blue tansy, this oil will absorb in 30 seconds. This is the oil that made Sandy a believer and me also once I tried it. And it's great for any temporary applications of discomfort that you have. And we've used it in a variety of ways. But like I said, this is the oil I always end up giving away when I'm out and about and somebody has pain because I don't want to see somebody in pain. So this is Deep Blue, and it also comes in a rub form. The difference between the oil and the rub is the oil will absorb in 30 seconds and the rub will last longer. So if you want quick relief, it's the oil. If you want long-lasting relief, it's the rub. And I like to combine both. and I combine them with frankincense because frankincense is an anti-inflammatory that also helps with cellular repair. Mm-hmm. So those three are a knockout blow, which I think is really great. Yes. So Deep Blue is a topical oil. It's not so much used aromatically or internally not used, because on the bottle you'll see something that says supplement, and that means an oil is good to take internally. If it doesn't say the word supplement, it doesn't mean it'll harm you, but it does mean that its best use is not internally or aromatically.
Right. And what about,
so I think I should.
What about your second oil?
Okay, I think I'll talk about frankincense next because I somewhat introduced it. Frankincense is the king of oils, and there have been a lot of studies done on some of the healing benefits of frankincense. And so I think that it's wise to talk about those healing benefits. Why this is in my emergency kit, though, is that it is an anti-inflammatory. And if you ever have an inflammatory condition that you want to use together with Deep Blue, they work very effectively. I use this oil every day, though, in a meditation practice. And I think that's one of its greatest benefits is aromatically. And so I use it right here on the third eye, mm-hmm. and over my heart and throat, because it's the oil of truth. And as the oil of truth, it helps you connect with truth, both internally and externally. And because it has a really powerful effect on keeping and maintaining healthy DNA replication, I like to use a drop of it under my tongue every morning. It doesn't taste great. Spoiler alert, it's not a great taste. Tastes a little woody, kind of like licking the bark off a tree, but it's an acquired taste. And when you know what it's doing internally to help your DNA stay healthy and strong, it's a great oil. It's Dr. Hill's favorite oil as well. So he's taught us over the years to use it as part of the daily routine. And as I come to OnGuard, I'll mention that certain oils are great to use daily, but just like we don't eat the same foods, because the essential oils are recognized by our body the same as food is, it's a good idea to use a variety of oils. And so as you study them, you'll learn that there are florals and there are trees and there are root oils. And sometimes you can mix up within the same family different oils and experiment with your own results and how you enjoy them. And that's where I'm at now. There are so many oils to choose from that I like to pick some new ones each week to experiment with. So OnGuard, it's perfect. There's a perfect time to talk about an oil whose properties are anti-infectious, antibacterial, and antiviral. This is another oil that's had a lot of testing done so that people can use with confidence 5 separate plants they're just plants. So we have eucalyptus, let's see, I should have refreshed. Wild orange, cinnamon, clove, and rosemary. And they're all in your spice cabinet, but they have very high anti-infectious properties. And by being able to use an oil like this, I carry this with me. Same thing with frankincense. You can apply it from a little bottle like this, straight on your tongue. And it's a very hot oil, so you want to be careful using this on the skin, unless you have something really serious like MRSA that, there's no feeling in the nerves anyway. But other than that, you want to use this oil topically only on rare occasions. In fact, mostly it's an aromatic to kill germs in the air in your home, or it's internally.
You can put it on the bottom of your feet, though, right?
You can put it on the bottom of the feet. That's probably the only application to the skin that's of regular benefit. And what I love about OnGuard is it's a germ fighter. So actually, I used to use the oil in all of these ways, but doTERRA has now come out with products. So I don't have to put drops of this in my hand soap anymore. I don't have to make my own hand sanitizer anymore or my own surface cleaner anymore, because doTERRA has a whole family of OnGuard now that does all of those things. So But you can use the oil, and I used to before they came out with all those products to do all of those things. So it's a powerhouse. These three, I couldn't live without them.
Great. That's so wonderful. Thank you for sharing your 3 favorite oils and your 3 must-have, don't leave home without them oils. Those are all amazing oils. Frankincense is also my favorite oil. It's my desert island oil. And I also use it for meditation, for opening the heart, for connecting to my truth. And I use it in my I Am Truth blend as well. So thank you for that reminder and for sharing your meditation practice with everyone today. Well, this wraps up today's episode. Thank you so much for being here, Claire. It was wonderful to have you on the show and to share all of your wisdom and experience with everyone.
My pleasure, Cheri. I'll talk about oils anytime.
Awesome. Well, I would love to have you back on the show. We're going to be doing more classes together with Claire. We have a class lined up for how to make over your medicine cabinet. We have some classes about how to have like a family health emergency kit coming up, and many, many more topics like that. So please stay tuned and please subscribe to this channel if you haven't already, and we will see you next time. Thanks so much for watching on Divine Light Quantum Healing.
Thank you.
Bye.
Bye-bye.